While you were sleeping, America may have just ceded Mars to China. Welcome back to On the Radar. For those of you who are new, I'm Eric Hillsberg. I'm the product manager for aerospace at MathWorks, but today, the views I'm sharing are entirely my own. What's happening in the fiscal year 2026 budget isn't really about money. It's about whether America stays ahead in the technologies that will define the next century. With the fiscal year 2026 budget proposal, we're debating whether America can afford a $7 billion space science budget while simultaneously finding an extra $150 billion for weapon systems. But this isn't really about affordability. It's about fundamentally different visions for America's technological future. On one side, massive investments in hypersonic weapons, drone swarms, next-generation fighters. On the other, proposed cuts to the fundamental scientific research that drives future breakthroughs. Before we dive into the details, let me ask you this. How important is it for America to maintain technological superiority, not just in weapon systems, but in fundamental scientific research? Because that's really what this budget battle is about. And the choices made here will echo out for decades. Let's start with the most dramatic development, which I've covered briefly before. What's being proposed for NASA? The administration's fiscal year 26 budget seeks a 24% overall cut, dropping NASA from $25 billion down to $19 billion. But the Science Mission Directorate faces the real devastation, a nearly 50% slash from $7.3 billion to $3.9 billion. In practice, this means terminating 55 operational and planned missions. The Jupiter orbiting Juno spacecraft, New Horizons at Pluto, the Da Vinci Venus probe, Mars sample return, all gone. These missions represent decades of scientific investment and America's leadership in space exploration. The scientific community's response has been unprecedented. All 7 former NASA science chiefs have written a joint letter to Congress warning these cuts would eliminate the United States as a global leader in space science, ceding power to China and other nations. Here's the strategic reality. While we're debating canceling Mars sample return due to cost overruns, China is accelerating Tianwen 3, their own Mars sample return mission, launching in late 2028. Just like the moon landing wasn't really about the moon, it's about demonstrating technological supremacy. Mars sample return is about proving whose space program can execute the most challenging missions. And it's going to provide essential information for human spaceflight to the Red Planet. There is hope with Lockheed Martin's proposed streamlined Mars sample return architecture for $3 billion. Using existing designs and proven elements, the mission is possible if there's the will to pay for it. But time is ticking. The Office of Management and Budget has reportedly directed NASA project leaders to prepare closeout plans by early July, assuming defunding by October 1st, before Congress even passes a budget. Former NASA officials are calling this a bad faith move. The good news, Congress is pushing back. Both Senate and House Appropriations subcommittees have advanced bills rejecting these deep cuts, proposing NASA maintains its budget at around $25 billion. Before you think I'm anti-defense, let me be clear. Some of the military modernization happening is brilliant and necessary. There are significant budget developments that show just how crucial advanced technology has become to national security. The Navy and Air Force are requesting $670 million for the AIM-260 Joint Advanced Tactical Missile, plus another $687 million for the development. This is the first time they've publicly requested production funding for the JTAM, and there's a compelling strategic reason. The AIM-260 is designed as a much longer range replacement for our AIM-120 MRAM, a medium-range air-to-air missile. This program was specifically initiated to counter China's PL-15 air-to-air missile, which appeared in 2016 and outranges our current systems. The missile will arm everything from F-A-18 Super Hornets to F-22 Raptors to future drone wingmen. But the real game changer? Hypersonic weapons. The Army's requesting $25 million for Blackbeard. Sorry, not that one. It's a hypersonic missile from the startup Castilian, founded by former SpaceX employees. The goal is to deliver 80% of our most advanced precision strike capability at a significantly reduced cost. Traditional ballistic missiles follow predictable arcs that defense systems can track and intercept. Hypersonic weapons travel at over 2,000 miles per hour while maintaining maneuverability, making them nearly impossible to stop, at least as far as we know. Blackbeard is designed to hit time-sensitive moving targets and hardened targets at ranges of up to 500 miles, traveling at hypersonic speeds. It launches from existing HIMARS systems and is scheduled for prototype demonstrations in early 2026, with potential fielding by early 2028. Meanwhile, the Air Force is requesting $387 million for the production of Lockheed Martin's AGM-183A Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, another hypersonic system. These weapons matter because traveling above Mach 5 on unpredictable flight paths makes these extremely difficult to intercept. In conflict, the side that can deliver precision strikes faster, and with less warning, has an enormous advantage. Perhaps the most significant shift we're seeing in military thinking is about drones. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a memo on July 10th that represents a fundamental change in approach. The memo states, small UAS resemble munitions more than high-end airplanes. They should be cheap, rapidly replaceable, and categorized as consumable. He's directing that every U.S. Army squad be armed with small, one-way attack drones by the end of fiscal year 26. This is massive. Instead of treating drones as expensive, durable platforms that need careful maintenance and recovery, we're moving towards expendable weapons that can be used liberally and replaced quickly. As you may have guessed, the strategic thinking comes from Ukraine. Marine Corps Major General Farrell Sullivan put it bluntly: the Ukrainians lose more drones in a week or day than we have totally fielded for Group 1 and Group 2 in the Marine Corps. Ukraine has produced an estimated 2 million drones domestically, while the DoD bought only 4,000 last year. FPV drones are essentially weaponized racing drones, except instead of flying through obstacle courses, they're flying into tanks. They're controlled by pilots wearing goggles showing real-time camera feeds like a deadly video game. The Marines highlight that FPV drones can provide squad-level lethality up to 20 kilometers for under $5,000. Compare that to traditional precise weapons costing hundreds of thousands or millions per shot. The Army's goal is ambitious: deliver 10,000 small drones costing under $2,000 each within 12 months. They're moving toward an official, purpose-built, attritable systems program. Note that word, attritable. These are systems designed to be lost in combat. Would you rather have one $100 million missile you can't afford to use, or 20,000 $5,000 drones you can use without hesitation? Now, I should emphasize, I'm only scratching the surface of military program funding in this budget. There are dozens of other programs, from submarine modernization to satellite constellations, each deserving their own analysis. But let's look at another area where the budget approach raises some strategic questions. Here's where the administration's technology-focused budget reveals a critical contradiction. While investing heavily in next-generation weapon systems like hypersonic missiles and drone swarms, we're simultaneously cutting traditional aviation programs and research infrastructure that created our current technological edge. The Pentagon's proposed budget plans to cancel the E-7 Wedgetail program and reduce F-35 fighter procurement. Now, these programs have faced real challenges. The E-7 has experienced cost increases and delays that deserve scrutiny, but 16 retired Air Force general officers, including 6 former chiefs of staff, have written Congress calling these cuts strategically irresponsible. Their concern isn't just about the specific platforms, it's about capability gaps. The Pentagon proposes replacing the E-7 with space-based assets and the older E-2 Hawkeye. But, as the retired generals point out, the E-2 cannot meet combatant command requirements, and space-based alternatives remain years away from operational reality. This creates a dangerous gap. We're cutting proven capabilities before their replacements are ready, betting on air superiority systems that don't exist yet or can't handle the mission. The pattern becomes more troubling when we look at NASA's aeronautics research, facing a proposed 37% cut. Programs like the Electrified Powertrain Flight Demonstrator are being terminated. Work on emissions reduction and electric aviation is being slashed, and 5 of NASA's 12 wind tunnels are going into standby mode. Here's what makes this particularly short-sighted. NASA's aeronautics research has historically been the foundation for military breakthroughs. The stealth technology in our F-22s and F-35, it emerged from NASA research programs. Advanced composite materials, propulsion systems, flight control technologies. These civilian research programs have repeatedly enabled military capabilities we rely on today. We're essentially dismantling the research engine that created our current military advantage while trying to maintain technological superiority. Electric propulsion isn't just about civilian aircraft, it's about future unmanned systems, extended range platforms, and reduced thermal signatures for stealth applications. The challenge isn't modernization itself. It's that we're modernizing by cutting the foundational research that enables these future breakthroughs. We're choosing between immediate capabilities and long-term innovation when we should be investing in both. This pattern extends beyond aviation. Across multiple agencies, we're seeing cuts to the technical infrastructure that created this era of American technological dominance. The Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, providing crucial weather forecasting data since the 1960s, is being discontinued on July 31st. Former NOAA Administrator Rick Spinrad calls this cutoff ill-timed, poorly planned, and dangerous, especially during hurricane season. The administration also proposes eliminating funding for the Traffic Coordination System for Space, which manages civil satellite traffic. The Office of Space Commerce would be cut from $65 million to $10 million. Industry groups warn that without proper space traffic coordination, U.S. commercial and government satellite operators would face greater risks, raising the cost of doing business, and potentially driving U.S. industry to relocate overseas. The human cost is significant. Mass layoffs and voluntary separations have hit agencies like NOAA and NASA, with approximately 900 NASA employees departing in February earlier this year, and another 1,500 signing up for voluntary separation programs through July. When we step back, we see a fundamental tension between short-term military modernization and long-term technological leadership. The hypersonic weapons, advanced missiles, and drone swarms we're developing are crucial for near-term dominance. But the research programs, scientific missions, and technical infrastructure we're cutting enable breakthrough innovations. History shows that our most important military technologies started as fundamental research programs. GPS, the internet, advanced materials, satellite technology, these all emerged from broad-based research efforts, not targeted weapons programs. Congress seems to understand this. Both House and Senate are poised to reject these budget cuts to NASA and are pushing for continued investment in space traffic management, aeronautics research, and other technical capabilities. But here's what I want to leave you with. This isn't just about government programs or defense contractors. These decisions will determine whether America remains the place where the hardest technical problems get solved, where the most advanced systems get built, and where the best engineers and scientists want to work. We're in a period where technological advantage determines national power, economic competitiveness, and, ultimately, security. The drone revolution, the hypersonic arms race, the space competition with China, these are all symptoms of the broader reality. When the fiscal year 26 budget is finalized, we'll know whether America chose comprehensive technological leadership, investing in both the weapon systems that we need today and the research that creates tomorrow's breakthroughs, or whether we made the fatal mistake of thinking we could maintain dominance by gutting research infrastructure that created our advantage in the first place. China isn't making that mistake. They're not choosing between military modernization and scientific research. They're doing both massively. The reconciliation bill pumped $150 billion into defense spending. That shows that we can find money when we want to. We found $150 billion for defense, but can't find $6 billion to maintain America's lead in space exploration. The question is whether we're smart enough to invest in both current capabilities and future possibilities, or whether we're going to cut our way to technological irrelevance. The choice is ours. The window is closing fast. What do you think? Should America prioritize weapons that win today's battles, or research that creates tomorrow's breakthroughs? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this useful. See you next time.